Hello, and thank you for joining me today. My name is Tiffany Christopher, and I am a program consultant from the Division of Assessment and Accountability Support working with the K-Screen program. Today, we will begin conducting our Refresh K-Screen training, including Infinite Campus and OMS. Let's get started. Here are the objectives for the day. Provide updates and procedures for district K-Screen contacts. Provide kindergarten screening training content for experienced staff. Next, we'll review our agenda. First, we're going to start with the purpose of the Common Kindergarten Entry Screener, ordering process and timeline, screening timeline, training requirements, and we'll end with IC reminders, OMS updates and reminders, and lastly, resources. The Common Kindergarten Entry Screener is designed to produce point-in-time student-level results that indicate the level of school readiness in 5 domains: adaptive, cognitive, communication, motor, and social and emotional. The Common Kindergarten Entry Screener data may be used as a system of measurement to inform stakeholders about early learning in order to close school readiness gaps, make informed policy decisions at the local level to support early learning experiences prior to school entry, establish local goals for program improvement in order to achieve early learning outcomes, and to include data as evidence in kindergarten through 3rd grade program evaluations. K-Screen results cannot be used to determine eligibility for enrollment or be utilized as part of the school's or district's overall score to determine recognition or support contained in any administration regulation. Next, we'll talk about the ordering process. The K-Screen ordering window closes on March 28th. Initial orders will begin shipping the week of May 9th. The Office of Assessment and Accountability recommends having the materials shipped to a central location or the district's Board of Education if this delivery window is during the district's summer vacation. Supplemental or late orders may still be placed by contacting me, Tiffany Christopher, or DACinfo at dacinfo@education.ky.gov. The OAA and Curriculum Associates cannot guarantee that supplemental or late shipments will arrive before the screening window. If any school within the districts are in need of replacement kits or pieces, please contact OAA through DACinfo or by emailing me at tiffany.christopher@education.ky.gov. I will place you in contact with Curriculum Associates personnel who will help you with this process. Next, we're going to review the timeline. The projected shipping date for K-Screen materials is the week of May 9th, allowing training programs to begin in June. Please take note of the August 4th date. This is a projected date of when OMS accounts will be available. Please refer to DAC emails to ensure that this date has or has not changed. You will also notice that districts will have access to K-Screen data reporting in January. The scores will then be released in the fall with the fall release of state assessment data. Training requirements. New district trainers must attend the 6-hour Train the Trainers module presented by Curriculum Associates. If you look back at the timeline, you will notice that we have one scheduled for April 30th and an in-person for July 15th. This in-person training will be held at the Sauer Building in Frankfort. If you cannot attend the July 15th training, OAA and Curriculum Associates will have a second virtual option on August 27th and 28th. New teachers administering the screen need to attend a 3-hour training provided by the district trainer. It is acceptable to provide these virtually. Experienced district trainers are required to watch this refresh training video that you are currently viewing. Experienced teachers administering this screen must receive a 1-hour refresher session that is provided by their district trainer. Lastly, all new and experienced data entry staff must view the training materials posted on the Common Kindergarten Entry Trainer website. Experienced district trainers, please remember that you may use the K-Screen refresh or portions of it in your district training. Training reminders. Each year, anyone who administers, manages, or enters data is required to take some form of training. It is required that you keep sign-in sheets and agendas of each training on file for 1 year, or from one training till the next. There is an implementation agreement that also must be signed by each person trained. This is located on our website and in the implementation guide under Appendix A. Brigant's office hours are hosted by OAA and Curriculum Associates will begin this fall and assist educators with topics such as the Brigant Screener, the online management system, data collection, and more. Details will be communicated in the K-Screen updates and Monday DAC emails. Next, we're going to talk about the Brigant Screener. First, you need to determine your screening window. As you start to order materials, it is also important to plan your screening window. The window begins no earlier than 15 calendar days before the first day of school and cannot exceed the 30th instructional day. Keep in mind that all data must be entered into the OMS and IC within 15 days after the window closes, but no later than October 15th, regardless. If you use the Brigants to pre-screen students in early registration, those results cannot be used as a screener was not administered during the official window. You will need to rescreen. It is important to ensure that if you screen students before school begins, you are within this window, and this is regulated by law. Be sure not to plan screening that conflicts with district or school professional development days. Moment and write down notes about your screening window and when your data entry window will close. Now, let's take a look at collecting prior settings data. This is something schools should be doing now or in the spring, but regardless, it should be on your radar. If not, make sure to collect prior settings data during kindergarten kickoff events such as open houses and back-to-school events. A letter and form located in the K-Screen website or in the implementation guide asks parents or guardians to let us know what the setting the child was enrolled in the year before or prior to kindergarten. That may be home, private sitter, daycare, preschool, Head Start, or kindergarten. If you're not receiving parent input, pull rosters from preschool and Head Start to use in conjunction with the parent form. This information can be collected at any time. Only students who are actively enrolled need to have a prior settings data entered into IC. Kindergarten screening results are derived from both prior settings data in IC and screener data entered into the OMS. If there is prior settings data in IC for a student, they will be listed in the kindergarten screening results. Continuing from previous years, repeating kindergarten students will be screened again, just as all other students. Their prior settings data will be recorded as kindergarten in IC. Repeating kindergarten students will ultimately have 2 entries for prior settings, one for last year and one marked kindergarten for this school year. Let's move on to the staff file. The DAC will access the spreadsheet from the KDE Secure Web Application site. They'll choose Student Data Detail, and the staff file is included in one zip file labeled SD26 with the district number, as seen here. If you are unable to access the KDE Secure Applications site, check with your WAPOC and/or the KDE Help Desk. The KDE Help Desk can be reached at 502-564-2002. Your district spreadsheet will be pre-populated with the information submitted for the 25-26 school year. Please review and make any corrections or additions as needed. During the window, a form will be sent out to add this information. This form must be completed by July 8th. Missing district staff files will be reverted to including only the district assessment coordinator. More information will be provided in the May K-Screen update. Once you have ordered materials, you have completed the trainings, and the staff files are submitted, you are ready to screen. This is a list of items each individual screening student needs: implementation guide, screening manual, data sheets, counting and sorting items, other items such as paper and pencil, picture books, photocopies of certain forms, and student demographics. Please refer to page 25 on the implementation guide to review notes on kindergarten core assessments. Remember that it is crucial to abide by the directions exactly as written in the manual. Maintain consistency, screen all students exactly the same way, and adhere to the discontinue points. It may be helpful to place Post-its as tabs on the places in the screen for quick reference. Make sure you review the implementation guide before beginning, and you may want to keep it handy as a quick point of reference when administering the screener, scoring the screener, and entering data into IC. You can provide the self-help and social and emotional forms to parents, or you can complete the self-help and social and emotional scales through an interview if you think that would be more productive. The script is in your training manual. Carefully monitor your return rate to complete during the screening window. Keep a list of those students who haven't turned this in, and it is important to administer this during the window. If after multiple attempts to collect you still don't have this, the teacher may complete it. Please ensure that each item has a response. Screening using iPad is a method some may use to enter scores directly into the OMS. This would only be an option after mid-August when the OMS is live. OAA will let districts know when the OMS is live and operational. Teachers would need to have a backup tablet or iPad on hand in the event of a technical difficulty. The results are entered as a student is screened, and if this method is used, the student's result must be printed and placed in the student's permanent record. This is a vital part of the screen, and the data must be entered during the testing window. Teachers also need to be ready and trained in the paper format should the internet connection fail. The Office of Assessment and Accountability will not accept non-participation requests for the K-Screen. The K-Screen is a screening tool designed to help districts quickly and effectively identify children's strengths and needs, thus allowing educators to plan individualized instruction and identify students who might need tiered instruction through the use of the Kentucky System of Intervention. It is not a summative assessment. We often have questions regarding nonverbal students. When considering nonverbal students, it is important to remember that this is a screener and not an assessment with accountability. It is okay if students cannot respond, quote unquote, correctly to every prompt. Teachers still can gain valuable information during the screen. After consultation with our accommodations specialist and consulting with the Brigance Manual, our guidance is to at least attempt the screener, possibly enlisting the assistance of someone familiar with the child's communication methods. If a student cannot answer something, mark the data sheet appropriately and move on to the next item. Now that we've reviewed K-Screen itself, let's take a look at Infinite Campus. In order for the Brigance data to be entered into the online management system, IC information must be set up correctly. Data files are extracted from IC, and files are created in the OMS for student assignment and assessment data. It is very important for communication and collaboration to happen between your district IC contact, the person who will be entering the new kindergarten data into IC, and you to ensure things are set up correctly from the beginning. This will save a lot of time and stress during the screening window. Prior settings data should be collected prior to the screening process. It is important to collect this information during kickoff events, kindergarten open house, camps, and can be placed in registration packets. This information is entered into IC. Data entry clerks must watch the videos associated with prior settings. These are located on the KDE's Common Kindergarten Entry Screener webpage. When entering the data, it is important to not only account for the setting 1 year prior. Repeating kindergarten students will have a prior setting of kindergarten. Next, we'll talk about the OMS, the Online Management System. The OMS is an online tool for entering in Brigance data. Both core assessment data and self-help and social emotional scales will be entered into the OMS. The OMS resets each year, and all the data will be pulled from IC into the OMS. The staff file that is due on July 8th is the first step in Curriculum Associates setting up the OMS accounts for your district and school. Once Curriculum Associates receives that file, they will set up the school and class list as well as the user list and teacher list. It is important to check the following. 1. Are all schools listed and teachers at each school? 2. Are all teachers listed and are all the email addresses correct? Please make sure that the district email address is listed and not a personal email address. This is a sample of a school class list. Here you will see Adair County. The district is listed as level 1. Adair County Primary is the school and listed as level 2. Level 3 would be each teacher belonging to the building. The names here are blank. It is also important to check the user list. These user lists are the teachers, data entry clerks, and administrators that need access to the OMS. It is important that the email addresses are correct district emails as well. IC feeds data to OMS. The staff file is pulled from IC to populate the class and user list in the OMS. Every week during the screening season, a new student file from IC will be uploaded into the OMS. Due to the 1-week lag between syncing district and state editions of IC, the changes made are not usually seen for up to 2 weeks. That's why it's critical for schools to communicate with you about missing or incorrect students in the IC immediately. The weekly refresh doesn't work for users and classes, only students. This is also the only way students are uploaded into the OMS. KDE cannot add or delete students from the OMS. Please be sure to check Appendix M in the implementation guide to troubleshoot entering data into OMS and IC. OMS data entry. Let's review what a student profile looks like. Here's a fictional student, Lucy Johnson. To begin entering data for Lucy, users will click the Enter New Screening Data on the right side of the screen, middle of the page. This is the only time you will choose this feature, only when no screening information has yet been entered. The core assessment data page will come up and users will enter the student's results from the student data sheet, or if you're screening with tablets, you'll enter data as you assess. You have a cancel, save, and submit score button. It is important to save your information as you go along. Remember, only press submit to score if the student has both the core data and self-help and social and emotional data fully entered. If duplicate data is created, there is a guidance on how to clean this up on our website. The same applies for the self-help and social emotional scales. After entering that data, you will hit save. Once all data is entered, submit must be clicked on the core assessment tab and the self-help and social emotional tab. Many times, those entering the screening data fail to finish entering all data, or they enter everything and forget to hit the Submit to Score button. It is important to know that the Submit turns to Submit to Score once all the information is entered for each part, the core assessment and the self-help and social and emotional scales. Make sure users click Submit to Score, otherwise it appears that the student has not been screened. Districts should not submit the self-help and social and emotional skills data in OMS if there is no core screen data being entered for that student. You will need to enter and save the self-help and social and emotional skills data, but unless you have the core data, do not submit. Now, let's take a closer look at Lucy's profile. When I look at this, I can see that Lucy's core assessments are completely entered because the status is submitted. I also see that the self-help and social and emotional skills are not complete. I can tell that because the status is saved. If you want to continue entering data, you will not click Enter New Screening Data. This is crossed out on the screen. Instead, you will click into the assessment as the green arrow points to and continue entering data, or it may be that it was simply not submitted to SCORE. A common error is duplicate entries. Duplicate entries must be removed from the OMS in order for the data to be accurate. Not removing duplicate entries impacts the results of group screening data. You can follow the link on the bottom of this slide or visit our K-Screen webpage to find guidance on how to remove duplicate entries. This is the ultimate end result for each student profile. Submitted on each section indicates the data is complete, nothing is missing, and each one has been submitted. Screen Not Screen report is perfect for checking whether a child has saved data that hasn't been submitted, but be aware that it will say submitted even if the self-help and social-emotional data is missing. This looks at the core assessment data only. We talked about the importance of clicking Submit to Score. You want the pie chart to be all green. You should not have any blue unless you are still entering in data. At the end of your data entry window, there should be no blue. If you do have data that is saved and not submitted, you can look for specific students by exporting the report as a CSV file and filtering the screening status column for saved. Or you can scroll through the list provided under the pie chart. As you can see, the saved will be included in that list. Simply open that student's screen and submit for scoring. It's important to utilize the CSV file. Exporting this group screening summary report as a CSV is the only way to check for the following. 1. Duplicate entries. When running this report, uncheck the box that says to include only the most recent. Sort the SSID column numerically and set a rule to highlight duplicates. 2. Missing self-help and social-emotional data. When running the report, make sure the box is checked to include only the most recent, set filters, and check for the blanks in the column where self-help and social-emotional scores should be. OMS reminders. Be sure to communicate these to schools. Your OMS account might look perfect in early August, but I wouldn't count on it being operational at that point. There are a few often issues that need to be resolved before student data can be entered. KDE will communicate when the OMS is ready to be used. This is important to know if you are screening with tablets or iPads. Also, in the past, some schools have tried to get ahead by setting up a homeroom under a school administrator's name so they could screen on iPads and sort the kids into homerooms later. The kids did not move automatically, and they had to manually move the students to the correct classes. For data entry reminders, please be sure to communicate the following. Avoid duplicate entries by only clicking a new screening session one time. Run reports to ensure all data is entered and submitted. Make sure that the Submit to Score is clicked when all data is entered in order for the assessment to be considered complete. CSV files allow for filtering reports. Next, we'll review the OMS updates. The update you will see is the Forgot Username and Forgot Password option on the login page. When you click on this option, you will be directed to entering your district email as well as clicking the security feature. When resetting your password, you will need to enter in your username and district email before marking the security feature. After completing either of the above-mentioned options, an email will be sent to the district email account that was entered. Here's a screenshot of what an email would look like that one would receive when resetting their OMS password. You will notice contact information that can be utilized if further assistance is required. Once screening is completed, districts are required to provide parent reports, providing individual reports of the screener to parents and/or guardians. Curriculum Associates has updated the label for the parent reporting. Using the student report option, you will see a link to the parent report link located at the bottom of the red box. You can navigate to the parent report by looking at the student profile page as well. On this page, the parent report is located on the far right. OMS now has a reminder message when one saves Brigance K-Screen data as opposed to pressing the Submit to Score button. Curriculum Associates implemented a new system warning, reminding districts of the deadline to enter Brigance data into the OMS. This message will be updated with the correct deadline of October 15th and re-implemented to notify districts of the deadline. When searching for students in the OMS, educators can now choose to show only active students, or show inactive students by using the drop-down menu below field search name. Another feature this screening season is the ability to multi-select students by using the checkboxes on the left of students' names. In an effort to assist in preventing duplicate screens, OMS now features a system messaging alerting data entry staff if the student has an existing screen in the system. OMS administrators now have the option to batch print reports, as seen here. Possible topics for experienced teacher and/or data entry trainings can be seen here. Refer to this guide to help you in developing your own trainings for the upcoming school year. K-Screen implementation has several requirements at different times of the year and different places to enter in data. While it's not a difficult process, there is a lot to do. So with that being said, I have broken it down into what needs to be completed in the upcoming weeks. Take a moment to review this information. Once you have completed what is on the previous slide, use this slide as a resource for what comes next. Again, use all the resources that are available to help you navigate through the year. I think it is important to know that you should share the results with families. We pull the data into report school readiness, and it is included in your district's open house data found on the KDE website. Next, we'll talk about training resources. Important resources for the district K-Screen contact administrator to review often and communicate with the appropriate people, such as those administering the screen in the classroom, teachers, support staff, and interventionists, principals, IC district contact, data entry staff, and DACs and BACs. These Brigance training videos are important for viewing in order to familiarize yourself with the OMS. They go beyond the highlights that I have provided here today. Remember, these slides can be used in full or in part for the 3-hour new screen training and the refresher you provide to trained staff. All are great for district training, but the Common Pitfalls video, Part 10, is required. For the 3-hour district training, I recommend Part 3, Part 4, Part 6, and the required Part 10. You can find training videos on the Kentucky Brigance webpage at brigance.com/Kentucky. Thank you for attending today, and here are a few resources that we've talked about throughout the video. As always, if you have any questions or need any assistance, please feel free to reach out to me at 502-564-4394, or you can email me at tiffany.christopher@education.ky.gov. Thanks for coming today.